Welcome back. This is still the Polity, reaching you live from Abuja. I've been joined now by a youth leader from the North Central region of the All Progressive Congress, Mr. Musa Mamman Kontagora. He joins me now to speak on recent happenings, decisions by the new president, and how it has affected the lives of the average Nigerian, for the better or for the worse, or perhaps somewhere in the middle. Welcome and good afternoon, Mr. Musa.
You are welcome.
It's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
All right. What can you tell us about the new government, President Bola Tinubu? How would you rate his performance so far? I know it's still early days, but he has done so much that we can't help but start to comment this early.
Okay. So first and foremost, I have to make a correction because I'm not the youth leader.
No, I said a youth leader, not the youth leader. Yeah.
Okay. So glory be to God for me giving this opportunity again. And by the grace of God, Bola Tinubu is going to do all his best he can in order to see that he fulfill his campaign promises. And I think Nigeria have seen it. They have seen the practical side of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They have seen the reality that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is here to transform this country into the greater height. This is what he cannot do alone. This is what he can do with the advice, with the prayers of Nigerians. Now, election is over. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the president of APC. He's the president of Nigeria. All hands need to be on deck. Traditional rulers, security agency, the governors, the elders of the community, we all need to come together in order to make decisions that will help this country to move forward. The president has given a vacancy for those that have what to say. Come over and meet him to give him an advice to deliberate on how this country will move forward. In the history, there is no president that have ever sat with the Youth Council. The Youth Council and also the nuns. You understand? But Bola Ahmed Tinubu sat with them. He asked them, what actually did they want? I was happy enough. Many of them give excuses that a lot of people are willing to go to school, but they can't afford the money for registration. Talk less of money for school fees, handout and other things. And he has given a reasonable reason by bringing out the student loan that will help the student, that will help an individual that is willing to study, that is willing to go to school. We find it easy for him to study. Education is a weapon. Education is a key to success. But Nigeria, we have left education behind. We put much emphasis on entertainment more than education. You understand? Something needs to be done in terms of education. And he has started it well. What we're expecting the president to do now is to bring an intellectual to be the minister of education. You understand? To bring an intellectual to be the minister of youth and sport. We need to come back to make way in order education can stand fit in this country. And in terms of also economic development, I am very sure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to find a way in order the economic of this country will stand on its feet. You understand? There are a lot of plans on the way to diversify the economy back to agriculture. President Muhammad Buhari have done it, but this present president is trying to do his best in order to make sure that what the government is giving, it is being reached to the grassroots, not only to the ministers, to head of agencies. You understand? Let it have a channel in order it will reach directly to the grassroots for them to benefit. You understand? And I assure you that before the 100 days in office, I believe Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have thousands of projects to present to the world as part of him fulfilling his promises, his campaign promises.
All right. I asked this question. I've asked of persons who are not APC members. So I would like to really hear what someone who is in the party has to say about this. The decisions being made now, they seem a polar opposite of what the previous president has been doing. Now, it might have been one thing for President Tinubu to come in and, you know, maintain the status quo for certain things. Take, for instance, we had 2 markets or parallel markets for the Naira dollar exchange. We had the CBN rates, we had the black market rates. If the President Tinubu had come in and continued on that path, would have said, you know, this is what the government of the APC has been doing. But he came and he unified it. We have the issue of fuel subsidy. President Buhari had initially tried to remove it, but had ended up extending it past his tenure for the new government to take over. Now, if perhaps President Tinubu had continued to borrow to pay subsidy, we'll say, well, this is what the government before him was doing. He's only maintaining the status quo. And so on and so forth. The EFCC chairman is in detention now. The CBN governor is being blamed for basically economic troubles of the country. So the question now is, why this drastic difference? And why is it that the APC still praises what President Tinubu is doing, even though they also praised what President Buhari was doing? Who at the end of the day is actually in the right?
To me, when there are a lot of mistakes and it needs correction, before taking a further step, you need to adjust those mistakes in order at the end of the day, that correction you are making, you might end up messing up because there is a mistake behind. You understand? What President Bola Tinubu is trying to do is, we should have a regularized price of petrol. You understand? From the top up to the grassroots where the local marketers are selling. Removing the fuel subsidy, going by the interviews I went, going by research, that is the best thing Nigeria need to do now. It is the best.
So why didn't President Buhari do it?
That is lack of advice from his cabinet members. This is not something that he might not have the sense of belonging to do it alone. He is waiting for what? The NNPC and other bodies to come and give him that suggestion. You understand? But Bola Tinubu sees it as he can do it alone. Approximately, Nigeria is spending up to 7 trillion every year for that fuel subsidy. When you look into the fuel market of other countries, you find out that the liter of fuel is still higher than how we are selling it. You understand? And many of them are not into the payment of what? Of fuel subsidy. You understand? Fuel subsidy have been removed now. What the government is trying to do is what? At 40% of the minimum wage. That 7 trillion that is being paid for subsidy.
I don't believe that those numbers are very accurate, but anyway, go ahead. I get
it is a reference I'm giving. That 7 trillion that is being spent on subsidy, if the government can at least provide 4 trillion to be added to the minimum wage of the civil servant, you understand, of those that are working, I believe it will reduce a lot of pressure. You understand? And it will boost the economy. Instead of wasting the resources of this country, is better. We are in a global world now. Very soon in this government, what the government is trying to do is anything that is being spent, the breakdown will be sent to the social media, you understand, for everybody to see. The price of crude at the world market will be sent for everybody to see. The crude that Nigeria is being selling abroad, it will be brought down for everybody to see, so that what? Everybody is entitled. You are a Nigerian. You are entitled to all this. Not only the politicians. We need to be sincere to ourselves, especially we the coming up. You understand? We believe if he has started this way and he has a good cabinet that we put him through, I believe we are going to have the best president ever. But you understand? But at the end of the day, no good ministers, I believe we are going to face a lot of challenges. You understand? Because many of the politicians are not after the well-being of their followers. They are not after...
What are you referring to now? This current dispensation or the one before?
I'm talking of the current one. You understand? He has started well. What he needed is good cabinet members for them to continue.
What do you think about him appointing career politicians into some of these positions? Do you think it would be in the right direction?
You can appoint career politicians, but not all of the position. There are some key positions that deals with the economic of the country. You understand? Minister of Finance, you have to get an intellectual that know the breakdown of finance, that has studied more about finance. You understand? In terms of Minister of Education, you have to get an intellectual also. There are some ministries that you need people that are vocal, people that are ready to do the job. And I believe Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do justice to that. You understand? As a career politician, some ministries that are to be given are just youths. You understand? Foreign affairs, those, but let the ministries that are being in charge of the development of this country, presently the situation we are now, we need an intellectual people. And we, the youth of APC, believe you me, if we see a minister that has no capacity and he has been nominated, we are going to do the needful. We are going to voice out. You understand me? Because we know the struggle that we have passed through. We know how it takes us too hard. It is only God that saved this country. This country could have been divided, but God saved this country. Now the election is over. What we need is sincerity. If a minister has been appointed and he's not having the capacity to do the work he's been given, we are going to write against him, and the court will do justice to it. You understand? This is the Nigeria of everyone, not the Nigeria of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is not the Nigeria of APC. This is not the Nigeria of career politicians. This is the Nigeria of every one of us. We need a better Nigeria.
All right, so very quickly, speaking about politics, what's your take or your thoughts on the recent movement against certain people in the government? We saw the central bank governor being arrested or being detained. We saw the EFCC chairman being similarly detained. What do you make of the accusations that these decisions are being made as a result of some sort of witch hunting? If you recall, you were on this program to speak about the Naira redesign and how, to some extent, it was targeted at, hurting the APC's chances of retaining power. And, one of the key figures in front of that policy was Godwin Emefiele. Similarly, there are reports, say unconfirmed anyway, that the EFCC chairman was also one of the backers of that policy. And it seems as though the president is simply on a revenge streak, trying to hurt those who almost hurt his chances of gaining power.
That's not. The own perspective people are looking at it like the president is trying to revenge what have been done to him is very wrong. What he's trying to do is make amendment, make suggestions. There are a lot of things that need to be corrected. You understand? Mm. The CBN governor has stayed too long in his tenure, and the policy is that any president that can come, even when President Muhammad Buhari is there, he can make a decision that the CBN governor, you understand, has been suspended. You understand me? The EFCC has been suspended. All of them know that if you are ahead of a parastatal, anything that happened in that parastatal, you will be in charge, whether you are among or you are not. In time of the CBN governor, what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did is the right thing. You understand? He's in charge of the monetary policy of this country as the governor of the central bank. You understand? We need to know the government need to get the breakdown of all what has been spent. You understand me? Lack of getting the breakdown will cost more harm than good. Instead of him to continue without having a good record from the past government on monetary policy and on CBN, he needs to make an adjustment. And in terms of the EFCC have not yet, he's just suspended. He's where he has to go for interview, for trial. At the end of the day, if he's not found guilty, he will be set free.
Well, okay, just comment on the way these things are being done. Mr. Godwin Emefiele has been held for going over a week now. Same thing almost for the EFCC chairman. Is this right? humans have rights. There are human rights. You are meant, if you are not going to charge him, if you are not going to go ahead with the process, you have no right to hold him. Otherwise, you are kidnapping him and denying him of his rights to freedom. So why is the president towing this route?
Even in the past government, there are a lot of judgment on the CBN governor for him to step down, and there is a lot of judgment on he himself, the EFCC chairman, for him to step down. You understand? The president, the past president, has his own reasons for overlooking those aspects, but here Bola Ahmed Tinubu sees it that it is right for us to have a change.
Can't he do it the proper way?
In quotes, if he continue with them, there will be a lot of mess and mistake. Understand that EFCC, this is a body that controls corruption. You get me? This is a government that of a party that has ruled and have governed. Had it been it is an opposition government that has just come, you understand me, they can continue with him. There will not be problem. But this is a government that has just ruled and passed and has opportunity to be in power. If he is being continued with, those that are being found guilty, many of them might not be penalized. You understand? Many of them might not face the law. Why? Because they have been in government with him in the past government.
Yes, but the issue is following the letter of the law. No one is saying he shouldn't do these things, but why
the
not
letter of the law?
The protocols.
He has not. He is on. He has been suspended and is on trial.
It's not on trial. It's just been held by security operatives.
It is still on trial. It is still on trial.
All right. Before we run out of time, let's quickly. I want to get your thoughts on some decisions. I'll just roll them out. If you can just respond in one breath. The signing of the bills, the student loan acts, the ones for judiciary, the removal of fuel subsidy, the unification of the exchange rate, all of these things, how do you think they are going to fare in the long run for the life of the average Nigerian?
Yes, in terms of the student loan, this is a step that if it is being used well and it being utilized, Nigeria is going to benefit on it. I usually say it, the problem of Nigeria is not constituting, obeying the law. You understand? So what the president is trying to do now is let this loan scheme get directly to every university. Let the poor masses benefit from it. You understand?
What about the requirements? Do you have any comments on that?
The requirement is okay.
The one that says you must not have what's the word, annual income that is more than, or pardon me, less than, or not more than, pardon me, not more than 500,000 per year. You know, so don't you think that's a bit high?
It is not high. Somebody that can afford 500,000 every year can be able to go to school. If you can acquire that, if you can earn that, you can be able to go to school. This the student loan is not talking of the higher, the average. He is talking of the ones, the poor ones. A lot of them that wrote JAM. The method of this, the loan scheme, government will try as much as possible. Get down. Let it be in connection with JAM and NECO. Those that are able to write JAM, that are able to write NECO, that have been given admission to certain institutions that don't have the means of going for their registration. But if it is just for every university to go and fill, a lot of people that have that means still will fill. You understand me? So there are a lot of steps in order to fill it, because it is going to be done with the bank, and the bank has every transaction of every individual. You understand? So the process is going to be okay. The process is going to be genuine. I assure you that.
Right. Well, it's for subsidy removal. Your thoughts?
For subsidy removal, it is the best for this country. The first subsidy that has been removed has no impact on Nigeria.
But Nigerians are paying much more now for transportation, having to walk long distances.
It
Some persons can't use their car anymore.
I also face the differences. Everybody face the differences.
So it does have impact on the average Nigerian.
The impact here is the money that have been spent for the fuel subsidy of a thing, now it will be added to the minimum wage. You understand? So changes come gradually, development come gradually. Let us pray. Let us have a focus. Let us continue to pray for this country, Nigeria. I believe my own government is going to do the needful on the issue of this fuel subsidy. And the issue of the fuel subsidy, the price also, government are trying to find a way in order to have an average price that the layman can buy.
All right, so let's move on. Unification of the exchange rates. There's no more CBN rates and black markets. We just have one that floats. So what's your take on that?
On that, the president is sitting on that, and even today he met with some economic, some of them that are well indicated on economy, and also the CBN is trying to find a way in order to control the exchange rate. You understand? This is just the beginning. But when a lot of things have been corrected, I believe the CBN will be in charge of it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Musa, Mamman, Kontagora. So like you said, the correction you made, he is a youth leader in the North Central region for the APC, not the North Central youth leader. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. All right, that's all we can take on the program for today. Don't forget to join us on weekdays 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The POLITY reaches you live from Abuja. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.